Namaskar. Plant layout. What is plant layout? Plant layout is the overall arrangement of the whole production process. Storeroom, stockroom, tool room, material handling, equipment, agents, racks and sub-stores, employees, services and all other accessories required for facilitation of the production in the factory. It encompasses production and service facilities and provides for the most effective utilization of the man, materials, and machines constituting the process. It is a master blueprint for coordinating all operations performed inside the factory. Plant layout definition. According to F.G. More, a good plant layout is one which allows materials rapidly and tightly for processing. This reduces transport, handling, clerical, and other costs down per unit. Space arrangements are minimized and it reduces idle machine and idle man time. Objectives of plant layout. A good plant layout strives to attain the following objectives: minimization of material handling, elimination of bottlenecks through the balancing of plant capacities, high material turnover through a shorter operating cycle, effective utilization of installed capacity so that the returns on the investments may be maximized, effective utilization of cubic space in the factory area, effective utilization of manpower resources through the elimination of idle time, elimination, improvement, or confinement of objectionable operations. Example: operations with bad order, vibrating operations. It is elimination of physical efforts required by operative workers, avoidance of industrial accidents, better working conditions for the employees, like lighting, ventilation, control of noise and vibrations, etc. Decency and orderliness inside the plant area, better customer services through cheaper and better product supplies according to the delivery promises. Factors affecting the plant layout decision. The decision of the plant layout is affected by the following factors: type of production. The layout of an engineering unit will be quite different from that of floor factory. Similarly, layout of a paper mill will be different from a tool room, and layout of an engine assembly line is different from the toy making facility. Production system. The plant layout in a continuous production system will be totally different from the intermittent production system. Scale of production. The plant layout and material handling equipment in the large scale organization will be different from that in the small scale manufacturing activity. The plant layout and material handling scale of production. The plant layout and material handling equipment in the large scale organization will be different from that in the small scale manufacturing activity. Type of machine. The use of single-purpose and multi-purpose machines substantially affects the plant layout. Similarly, noise and vibrating machines require special attention in the plant layout decision. Type of building facilities. The plant layout in a single-story building will be different from that in a multi-story building. Availability of total floor area. The allocation of space for machines, workbenches, sub-stores, agents, etc. is made on the basis of the available floor area. Use of overhead space is made in a case of shortage of space. Possibility of future expansion. Plant layout is made in the light of the future requirements and installation of additional facilities. Arrangement of material handling equipment. The plant layout and the material handling services are closely related, and latter has a decisive effect on the arrangement of the production process and plant services. Type of plant layout. The popular types of plant layout are process layout, product layout, combined layout, project layout, group layout, process layout. This type of layout is also called functional layout. All machines performing a similar type of operations are grouped at one location in the process layout. Example: all lathes, milling machine, cutting machines, etc. in the engineering shop are clustered in their like groups. Thus, all forging will be done in one area, and all the lathes will be placed in another area. In this layout, several products may share a machine to make its full use. The sequential arrangement of the machine group is generally, but not necessarily, made on the basis of labor operations. In this type of layout, the process rather than product has dominating role. The product is given secondary consideration and is moved for the purpose of operations to the process section, like with like machines stationed at a particular point. This type of layout is more suitable to job order type of production. The typical arrangement of the machines in the process layout will be as under. The advantages of process layout: it eliminates the duplication of machines and enables the optimum use of installed capacity. It facilitates flexibility in production. It is more flexible than than a line layout. Different products can be made without changes in the arrangement of the machine. The production capacity is not arranged in rigid sequence and fixed rated capacity with line balancing. The production capacity is not arranged in rigid sequence and fixed rated capacity with the line balancing. The breakdown of one machine does not interrupt the entire production flow. The breakdown of one machine does not interrupt the entire production flow. Specialization in supervision becomes possible. Individual incentive schemes can be developed. Disadvantages of disadvantages of process layout. Due to sorry, due to a lack of straight line sequence of production, it is impossible to maintain the line balancing in production. So the problems of bottleneck and waiting and the idle capacity. The cost of material handling increases due to long routing and backtracking between the processes. The processing time is prolonged, which reduces the inventory turnover and increases the investment in inventories. The inspection cost increases due to frequent changes in the machine setup. Inspection is required at each stage of the process. The cost of supervision increases due to specialist supervisors and more number of supervisors are required at each process unit. The production planning and control become difficult due to complexities arising in routing, scheduling, dispatching, and follow-up. It is not impossible to supplement the group incentive schemes on the basis of quantity of the products manufacturing. More space is required for internal storing and a reservoir of materials and provision for the expansion of particular process section. More space is required for internal storing a reservoir of materials and provision for the expansion of production process section. Product layout. In this type of layout, the machines are arranged in the sequence as required by the particular product. All machines are as required to balance the particular product line are arranged in sequential line but not necessarily in the straight line. It is also known as the product line layout. In this layout, one product goes through all the machines lined up in the order required by its manufacturer. The best known example of this type of layout is seen in motor car production. To make this layout successful, the workload on the various machines must be balanced. The process of getting even loading at each stage of production is called line balancing. In this type of layout, the product is dominating over the process in the sense that the product is given the primary importance and the process machine must remain present at a point where the product needs its services. Thus, unlike the process layout, the process is given secondary importance in relation to the product. Product layout is more suitable for continuous flow production with few items of production. It does not require frequent changes in the machine setup. This typical arrangement of the machine in the product with separate and independent product lines for product A and product B will be as shown in the follow. Sorry. The typical arrangement of the machines in the product with separate independent product lines for product A and B. Sorry. Advantages of product layout: reduced material handling costs due to straight line production flow, mechanization of material handling between fixed points, line balancing may eliminate bottlenecks and idle capacity, shorter operating cycle due to shorter and speedy movement of materials, maximum utilization of machine and labor capacity through developing the proper balance between them, effective control over production with reduced supervision by generalist supervisor. By reducing the manufacturing to simple steps, we can often use less skilled labor. Effective quality control with reduced inspection points. It does not require frequent changes in machine setup. Effective production planning and control. Unlike process layout, the routing, scheduling, dispatching, and follow-up are relatively easier. Maximum use of space due to strict production flow and reduced need of interim storing. It facilitates the implementation of group incentive schemes for the workers. It is relatively easy to control. Disadvantages of product layout: the duplication of machines and equipment necessitates the increased investments in them, sometimes resulting in idle capacity. The production flow is regulated through straight line sequence and fixed rated capacity, and thus makes it highly inflexible. The breakdown of one single machine in line interrupts the entire production flow. Unlike process layout, the benefits of a specialized supervision is not possible, as the entire production is the result of the joint efforts of all operations in the line. It is difficult to implement individual incentive schemes. They are less flexible than others. Any change in product requires balancing in the line. Combined layout, generally pure process or pure product layout is not found in practice. Both process and product layouts are mutually exclusive. Proper compromise, reaping the benefits of both the layouts is possible to some extent. So efforts are made to have the combined layout incorporating the benefits of process and product layout. Combined layout is developed as under product layout for the main product with a process layout for joint, or by virtue tapping the idle capacity of product layout along with marginal investments required in process layout. To diversify to, so, so sorry to so sorry to to diversify the production with a view to tap the idle capacity of the product layout. Products with a complete negative correlation with the product line can make the maximum use of idle capacity of the product layout. In the product layout, some process may be segregated from the product line. Example: objectionable hazards requiring special treatment and repetitive performance, etc. Project layout: the manufacturing operation requires the movements of man, machine, and materials. Generally, few inputs tend to static while the other are moving. In the product layout and process layout, generally the machines have fixed installation and the operators are static in terms of their specified workstations. It is only the materials which move from operation to operation for the purpose of processing. But where the product is large in size and heavy in weight, it tends to be static. Example: shipbuilding. In such a production system, the product remains sorry. In such a production system, the product remains static and the man and machines more move performing the operations on the product. The production characteristics are sufficient enough to treat it as a separate type of layout. That static that is sorry static plant layout, group layout. Here is an attempt is made to introduce some of the advantages of a line layout into a situation where pure line layout is not practicable. Here machines are placed in groups. Each machine groups make maximally of parts which require similar treatment. This layout lies between process layout and line layout. It is easier to control than a strictly process layout and has more flexibility into the manufacturing system as regards the batch size variation and the differing operation sequence. Reference: Chase R.B. Jacobs for Operations Management for Competitive Advantages. The Macro Oil. R. Johnson, Spacecraft for Multi-Floor Layout Planning Management Science. 28 number 4 April 1982. pp. 407 to 17. M.S. Somers and J.V. Kernan. A Behavioral Approach to Planning, Layout and Display. Journal of Retailing. Winter 1965 to 1966. pp. 21 to 27. Plant layout. What is plant layout? Plant layout is the overall arrangement of the production process. Storeroom, stock room, tool room, material handling equipment, edges, racks and sub-stores, employees, services, and all other accessories required for facilitation of the production in the factory. It encompasses production and service facilities. It provides for the most effective utilization of the man, materials, and machines constituting the process. It is a master blueprint for coordinating all operations performed inside the factory. Plant layout definition. According to G. Morse, a good plant layout is one which allows materials rapidly and accurately for processing. This reduces transport, handling, clerical and other costs down per unit. Space requirements are minimized and it reduces idle machine and idle man time. Objectives of plant layout. A good plant layout strives to attain the following objectives: minimization of material handling, elimination of bottlenecks through the balancing of plant capacity, high material turnover through a shorter operating cycle, effective utilization of installed capacity so that the returns on the investment may be maximized, effective utilization of the cubic space in the factory area, effective utilization of manpower resources through the elimination of idle time, elimination, improvement, or confinement of objectionable operations. Example: operations with bad order, vibrating operations, etc. Elimination of physical efforts required by operative workers, avoidance of industrial accidents, better working conditions for the employees like lighting, ventilation, control of noise and vibrations, etc. Decency and order readiness inside the plant area, better customer services through cheaper and better product supplies according to the delivery promises. Factors affecting the plant layout decision. The decision of the plant layout is affected by the following factors: type of production. The layout of an engineering unit will be quite different from that of a floor factory. Similarly, layout of a paper mill will be different from a tool room, and layout of an assembly line is different from the try making facility. Production system. The plant layout in a continuous production system will be totally different from the intermediate production system. Scale of production. The the plant layout and material handling equipment in the large scale organization will be different from that in the small scale manufacturing activity. Type of machines. The use of single purpose and multi-purpose machines substantially affects the plant layout. So very noise and vibrating machines require special attention in the plant layout decision. Type of building facilities. The plant layout in a single story building will be different from that in a multi-story building. Availability of total floor area. Allocation of space for machines, workbenches, sub-stores. As a city is made on the basis of the available floor area. Use of overhead space is made in the case of shortage of space. Possibility of future expansion. Plant layout is made is made in the light of future requirements and installation of additional facilities. Arrangement of material handling equipment. The plant layout and the material handling facilities are closely related, and latter has a decisive effect on the arrangement of the production process and plant services. Type of plant layout. The popular types of plant layout are process layout, product layout, combined layout, project layout, group layout, process layout. This type of layout is also called functional layout. All machines performing a similar type of operations are grouped at one location in the process layout. Example: all lathes, milling machines, cutting machines, etc. in the engineering shop are clustered in their like groups. Thus, all forging will be done in one area, and all the lathes will be placed in another area. In this layout, several products in this layout several products may share a machine. In this layout, several products may share a machine to make its full use. The sequential arrangement of the machine group is general but not necessarily made on the basis of labor operations. In this type of layout, the process rather than product has a dominating role. The product is given secondary consideration and is moved for the purpose of operations through the process section with like machines stationed at a particular point. This type of product layout is more suitable to job order type of production. The typical arrangement of the machines in this process layout will be as under the advantages of process layout. It eliminates the duplication of machines and enables the optimal use of installed capacity. It facilitates flexibility in production. It is more flexible than a line layout. Different products can be made without changes in the arrangement of the machine. The production capacity is not arranged in rigid sequence and fixed rated capacity with line balance. The breakdown of one machine does not interrupt the entire production flow. Specialization in supervision becomes possible. Individual incentive schemes can be developed. Disadvantages of process layout due to a lack of straight line sequence of production. It is impossible to maintain a line balance in production, so the problems of bottleneck and waiting and the idle capacity. The cost of material handling increases due to long routing and backtracking between the processes. The processing time is prolonged, which reduces the inventory and turnover and increases the investments in inventory. The inspection cost increases due to frequent changes in the machine setup. Inspection is required at each stage of the process. The cost of supervision increases due to specialist supervisors, and more number of supervisors are required at each process unit. The production plan, sorry, the production planning and control becomes difficult due to complexities arising in routing, scheduling, dispatching, and follow-up. It is not impossible to implement the group incentive scheme on the basis of the quantity of the products manufacturing. More space is required for internal storing. It is aware of materials and provisions for the expansion of particular process section from product layout. In this type of layout, the machines are arranged in the sequence as required by the particular product. All machines are required to balance a particular product line are arranged in sequential line, but not necessarily in the straight line. It is also known as the product line layout. In this layout, one product goes through all the machines lined up in the order required by its manufacturer. Best known example of this type of layout is seen in motor car production. To make this layout successful, the workload on the various machines must be balanced. The process of getting even loading at each stage of production is called line balancing. In this type of layout, the product is dominating over the process in the sense that the key product is given the primary importance, and the process machine must remain represented at a point where the product needs its services. Thus, unlike the process layout, the process is given secondary importance in relation to the product. Product layout is more suitable for continuous flow of production with few items. So it does not require frequent change in the machine setup. This the typical arrangement of the machine in the product jam, jam, advantages of product layout. Typical arrangement of the machine in the product with separate independent product lines for product A and product B. The typical arrangement of the machines in the product with separate independent product lines for product and advantages of product layout. It reduced material handling costs due to straight line product for production. Mechanization of material handling between fixed points. Line balancing will eliminate bottlenecks and idle capacity. Shorter operating cycle due to shorter and speedy movement of materials. Maximum utilization of machine and labor capacity through developing a paper balance between them. Effective control over production with reduced supervision by journalist supervisor. By reducing the manufacturing to simple steps, we can often use less skilled labor. Effective quality control with reduced inspection points. It does not require frequent change in the machine setup. Effective production planning and control. Unlike process layout, the routing, scheduling, dispatching, and follow-up are relatively easier. Maximum use of space due to straightforward production flow and reduced need of entry storing. It facilitates the implementation of group incentive schemes for the workers. It is relatively easy to control. The disadvantages of product layout. The duplication of machines and equipment necessitates the increased investment in them, sometimes resulting in the idle capacity. The production flow is regulated through the straight line sequence and fixed rated capacity, and thus makes it highly inflexible. The breakdown of one single machine in the line interrupts the entire production flow. Unlike process layout, the benefits of specialized supervision is not possible, as the entire production is the result of the joint efforts of all operations in the line. It is difficult to implement individual incentive schemes. They are less flexible than others. Any change in the product requires balancing the line. Combined layout. Generally, pure product layout is not found in practice. Both process and product layouts are mutually exclusive. A proper compromise, reaping the benefits of both the layouts is possible to some extent. So efforts are made to have the combined layout or incorporating the benefits of process and product layout. Combined layout is developed as under the product. Combined layout is developed as under the product layout for the main product, with the process layout for joint or by product, tapping the idle capacity of product layout along with marginal investments required in process layout to diversify the sorry to do to just sorry to diversify the production with a view to tap the idle capacity of the product layout. Products with a complete negative correlation with the product line can make the maximum use of idle capacity of the product layout. In the product layout, some processes may be separated from the product line. Example: objects level hazards requiring special treatment and repetitive performance, etc. Project layout. The manufacturing operation requires the movements of main machines and materials. Generally, few inputs tend to be static while the others are moving. In the product layout and process layout, generally the machines have fixed installation and the work operators are static in terms of their specified workstations. It is only the materials which move from operation to operation for the purpose of processing, but where the product is larger in size and heavy in weight, it tends to be static. Example: shipbuilding. In such a production system, the product remains static and the man and machine move performing the operations on the product. The production characteristics are sufficient enough to treat it as a separate type of layout. Static product layout. Group layout. Here is an attempt made to introduce some of the advantages of a line layout into a situation where pure line layout is not practicable. Here, machines are planned in groups. Each machine group makes maximally of parts which require similar treatment. This layout lies between process layout and line layout. It is easier to control than strictly process layout and has more flexibility into the manufacturing system as regards the batch size variations and the differing operations sequences. Reference Chage RB Jacob Alpha Operations Management for Competitive Advantage. The McGraw R. Johnson, The Spacecraft for Multi-Floor Layout Planning and Management Science, 28 number 4, April 1982, TP 040 407 17, MS Somers and J. B. Kernan, A Behavioral Approach to Planning, Layout and Display, Journal of Retailing, Winter, 1965 to 66, pp 21 to 27. In the world of sorry operation management. What is operation management? Operation management, sorry. Operation management. What is operations management? Operations management is a field of business concerned with administration of business practices to maximize efficiency within an organization. It involves planning, organizing, and overseeing the organization's processes to balance revenues and costs and achieve the highest possible operating profits. An operations an operations manager is tasked with ensuring that the organization successfully converts inputs in such as materials, labor, technology into outputs in an efficient manner. Summary: operations management involves managing the operations and processes of an organization. Sometimes some of the functions performed by an operations manager include supply chain management, product design, forecasting, quality control, and delivery management. An operations manager must have excellent organizational coordination and people skill and must be tech savvy. Responsibilities in operation management. Operations management is a field of business that involves managing the operations of a business to ensure efficiency in the execution of the products. It means that the individual in the charge of the department will be required to perform various strategic functions. Some of the functions include product design. Product design involves creating a product that will be sold to the end consumer. It involves generating new ideas or expanding on current ideas in a process that will lead to the production of new products. The production manager's responsibility is to ensure that the products sold to a consumers meets their needs as well as match the current market trends. Consumers are more interested in the quality of the product more than quantity, and the organization should create systems that ensure the products produced meet the needs of the consumer. Forecasting involves making predictions of events that will occur in the future based on past data. One of the events that operations manager is required to predict is the consumer demand for company's products. The manager relies on past and present data on the uptake of the company's products to determine the future trends in the consumption. The forecasts help the company know the volume of products needed to meet the market demand. Supply chain management involves managing the production process from raw materials to the finished product. It controls everything from production, shipping, distribution to delivery of products. The operations manager manages the supply chain process by maintaining control of inventory management, the production process, distribution, sales, and sourcing of suppliers to supply required goods at reasonable prices. Properly managed supply chain process will result in an efficient production process, low overhead costs, and timely delivery of products to consumers. Delivery management. The operations manager is in charge of delivery management. The manager ensures that the goods are delivered to the consumer in a timely manner. They must follow up with with the consumers to ensure that the goods delivered are the consumers ordered and that they meet their functionality needs. If the customer is unsatisfied with the product or is complaining about certain features of the product, the operations manager will receive the feedback and forward it to the relevant departments. Ideal skills of an operations manager. Unlike the marketing or finance departments where managers are responsible for their departments, operations management is a cross-department role where the manager assumes an array of responsibilities across multiple disciplines. To be successful, an operations manager must possess the following skills: organizational abilities. Organizational abilities refer to the ability of the operations manager to focus on different projects without getting distracted by the many processes. The operations manager should be able to plan, execute, and monitor each product to the end without losing focus. If a manager is not organized, uncompleted tasks will be piled up. Important documents will get lost in the process, and the majority of the time will be spent finding lost documents that could be easily accessible. And had the manager been organized, good organization skills can increase production efficiency and help the manager save time or coordination. An operation manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper use of resources towards the achievement of the organization's goal. Coordination involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with ease. It also involves dealing with the interruptions, obstacles, and crises and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. People skills. Most of the responsibilities of an organizations. Sorry, people skills. Most of the responsibilities. Sorry, people skills. Most of the sorry people skills. Most of the responsibilities of an operations manager involve dealing with people. This means that they must know how to relate with the employees, outside stakeholders, and other members of the senior management. An operations manager should know how to manage the fine lines with other colleagues by knowing how to communicate, listen, and relate to them on professional and personal levels. Since workplaces are made of people from diverse cultures, the operations manager needs to show tolerance and understanding to the other people. Also, the manager should be able to resolve conflicts and mediate disputes between employees and members of the senior staff. Tech savvy. In the stage of rapidly advancing technologies, an operations manager needs to have an affinity for technology in order to be in a position to design processes that are both efficient and tech compliant. Modern organizations are becoming increasingly tech dependent in order to gain a competitive advantage in the market. This means that most of the processes conducted manually, such as procurement, must transit to more efficient automated processes. When an operations manager is familiar with the latest innovations in the tech industry, they can use the innovations to improve their internal processes. Additional resources. sorry sorry what is operations management? Operations management is a field of business concerned with administration of the business practices to maximize efficiency within an organization. It involves planning, organizing, and overseeing the organization's processes to balance revenues and costs and achieve the highest possible operating profit. An operations manager is tasked with ensuring that the organization successfully converts inputs such as materials, labor, and technology into outputs in an efficient manner. Operations management involves managing the operations and processes of an organization. Some of the functions performed by an operations manager include supply chain management, product design, forecasting, control, quality control, and delivery management. And operations management must have excellent organizational coordination and people skills and must be tech savvy. Responsibilities in operations management. Operations management is a field of business that involves managing the operations of a business to ensure efficiency in the execution of the projects. It means that the individual in charge of the top department will be required to perform various strategic functions. Some of the functions include product design involves creating a product that will be sold to the end customer. It involves generating new ideas or expanding on current ideas in a process that will lead to the production of new products. The operations manager's responsibility is to ensure that the products sold to customers their needs meet their needs as well as match current market trends. Current sorry Customers are more interested in quality of the product more than the quantity. The organization should create systems that ensure the products produced produced meets the needs of the consumer. Forecasting involves making predictions of events that will occur in the future based on past data. One of the events that the operations manager is required to predict is the consumer demands for the company's products. The manager relies on past the manager relies on the past and present data on the uptake of the company's products to determine future trends in the consumption. The forecast helps the company know the volume of products needed to meet the market demand. Supply chain management involves managing the production process from raw materials to the finished product. It controls everything from production, shipping, distribution to delivery of products. The operations manager manages the supply chain process by maintaining control of inventory management, the production process, distribution, sales, and sourcing of suppliers to supply required goods at reasonable price. A properly managed supply chain process will result in an efficient production process, low overhead, low, low overhead low overhead costs and timely delivery of products to consumers. The operations manager sorry the operations manager sorry the operations man sorry the operation sorry the operations sorry The operations manager manages the supply chain process by maintaining control of inventory management, the production process, distribution, sales, and sourcing of suppliers to supply required goods at reasonable price. A properly managed supply chain process will result in an efficient production process, low overhead costs, and timely delivery of products to consumers. Delivery management. The operations manager is in charge of delivery management. Delivery management. The operations manager is in charge of delivery management. The manager ensures that the goods are delivered to the consumer in a timely manner. They must follow up with the consumers to ensure that the goods delivered are what the consumers ordered, and that they meet their functionality needs. If the customer is unsatisfied with the product or is complaining about certain features of the product, the operation so manager receives the feedback and forward it to the relevant departments. Ideal skills of an operations manager. Unlike the marketing or finance department where managers are responsible for their departments, operations manager is a cross-department role where the manager assumes an area of responsibility across multiple disciplines. To be successful, an operation manager must possess the following skills: organizational abilities. Organizational abilities refers to the ability of the operations manager to focus on different projects without getting distracted by the many processes. The operations manager should be able to plan, execute, and monitor each project to the end without losing focus. If a manager is not if a manager is not organized, uncompleted tasks will pile up. Important. If a manager is not organized, uncompleted tasks will be piled up. Important documents will get lost in the process, and a majority of the time will be spent finding lost documents that could be easily accessible had the manager been unorganized. Good organization skills can increase production efficiency and have the manager save time. Coordination. An operations manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper usage of resources towards the achievement of the organization's goals. Organization involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with it. It also involves dealing with the interruptions, obstacles, and crises, and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. Coordination. You know, an operations manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper use of the resources towards the achievement of the organization's goal. Coordination involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with ease. It also involves dealing with the interruptions, obstacles, and crises, and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. An operations manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper use of resources towards the achievement of the organization's goal. Coordination involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with the is. It also involves dealing with the interruptions, obstacles, and crises, and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. An operations manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper use of the resources towards the achievement of the organization's goals. Coordination involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with it. It also involves dealing with the interruptions, obstacles, and crises, and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. In operations, manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper use of resources towards the achievement of the organization's goals. Coordination involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with each. It also involves dealing with interruptions, obstacles, and crises, and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. People, people skills. Most of the responsibilities of an operations manager involve dealing with people. This means that they must know how to relate with the employees outside stakeholders and other members of the senior management. An operations manager should know how to manage the fine lines with other colleagues by knowing how to communicate, listen, and relate relate to them on professional and personal levels. Since, sorry, since work, sorry, since workplaces are made up of people from diverse cultures, the operations manager needs to show tolerance and understanding to the other people. Also, the manager should be able to resolve conflicts and mediate disputes between employees and manager members of the senior staff. Tech savvy. In the stage of rapidly advancing technology, an operations manager needs to have an affinity for technology in order to be in a position to design processes that are both efficient and tax compliant. Modern organizations are becoming increasingly tech dependent in order to gain a competitive advantage in the market. This means that most of the processes conducted manually, such as the procurement, must transit to more efficient automated processes. When an operations manager is familiar with the latest innovations in the tech industry, they can use the innovations to improve internal processes. What is operations management? Operations management is a field of business concerned with the administration of business practices to maximize efficiency within an organization. It involves planning, organizing, and overseeing the organizations of processes to balance revenues and costs, and achieve the highest possible operating profit. An operations manager is tasked with ensuring that the organization successfully converts inputs such as input materials, labor, and technology into outputs in an efficient manner. Summary of operations management involves of managing the operations and processes of organization. Some of the functions performed by operations manager include supply chain management, product design, forecasting, quality control, and delivery management. Operation management manager must have excellent organizational skill, organizational coordination, and people skills, and must be tech savvy of responsibilities in the operations management. Operations management is a field of business that involves managing the operations of a business to ensure the efficiency in the execution of projects. It means that the individual in charge of the department will be required to perform various strategic functions. Some of the functions include product design. Product design involves creating a product that will be sold to the end consumer. It involves generating new ideas or expanding on current ideas in a process that will lead to the production of new products. The operations manager's responsibility is to ensure that the product sold to consumers meet their needs as well as match current market trends. Consumers are more interested in the quality of the product more than quantity, and the organizations should create systems that ensure the products produced meet the needs of the consumer. Forecasting involves making predictions of the events that will occur in the future based on past data. Based on the past data, one of the events that are the operations manager is required to predict is the consumer demand for the company's products. The manager relies on past and present data on the uptake of the company's products to determine future trends in the consumption. The forecasts help the company know the volume of products needed to meet the market demand. Supply chain management. Supply chain management involves managing the production process from raw materials to the finished product. It controls everything from production, shipping, distribution to delivery of products. The operations manager manages the supply chain process by maintaining control of inventory management, the production process, distribution, sales, and sourcing of suppliers to supply required required good at reasonable prices. A properly managed supply chain process will result in an efficient production process, low overhead costs, and timely delivery of products to consumers. Delivery management. The operations manager is in charge of delivery management. The manager ensures that the goods are delivered to the consumers in a timely manner. They must follow up with the consumers to ensure that the goods delivered are what the consumers ordered and that they meet their functionality needs. If the consumer is unsatisfied with the product or is complaining about certain features of the product, the operations manager receives the feedback and forwards it to the relevant departments. Ideal skills of an organization's manager, unlike the marketing or finance department where managers are responsible for their departments, operations manager is a cross department role where the operations management is sorry operations management is a cross department role where the manager assumes an area of responsibilities across multiple disciplines. To be successful in operations manager must possess the following skills. Organizational abilities refers to the ability of the operations manager to focus on different projects without getting distracted by the many processes. The operations manager should be able to plan, execute, and monitor each project to the end without losing focus. If a manager is not organized, uncompleted tasks will be will pile up. Important documents will get lost in the process, and a majority of the time will be spent finding lost documents that could be easily accessible. That had the manager been organized, good organization skills can increase production efficiency and help the manager save time. Coordination. An operations manager needs to have good coordination by knowing how to integrate resources, activities, and time to ensure proper use of the resources towards the achievement of the organization's goals. Coordination involves carrying out specific activities simultaneously and switching between the activities with ease. It also involves dealing with the interruptions, obstacles, and crises, and efficiently going back to the normal routine functions to prevent further interruptions. People skills. Most of the responsibilities of an operations manager involve dealing with the people. This means that they must know how to relate with the employees, outside stakeholders, and other members of senior management. An operations manager should know how to manage the fine lines with other colleagues by knowing how to communicate, listen, and relate to them on professional and personal level. Since some workplaces are made of people from diverse cultures, the operations managers need to show tolerance and understanding to other people. Also, the manager should be able to resolve conflicts and mediate disputes between employees and members of the senior staff. Tech savvy in this stage of rapidly advancing technologies, and operations manager needs to have an efficient affinity for technology in order to be in a position to design processes that are both efficient and tax compliant. Modern organizations are becoming increasingly tech dependent in order to gain a competitive advantage in the market. This means that most of the processes conducted manually, such as procurement, must transit to more efficient automated processes. When an operations manager is familiar with the latest innovations in the tech industry, they can use the innovations to improve the internal processes. What is material management? Definition and primary objectives. Material management is the process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the flow of materials within an organization. In the manufacturing field, material managers perform a vital role in purchasing, obtaining, and maintaining raw materials to use in production processes. Having a basic understanding of this concept and the specific role of a material manager can help you prepare for a career in this field. In this article, we outline what material management is and how it works, what material managers do, and its four and its five core objectives. What is material management? In the context of business, material management is the process of planning, organizing, and directing logistical activities involving materials and inventory. The core idea behind this process is to control the movement of materials and equipment by requesting them in advance, purchasing or renting them at a reasonable price, and making sure they are available when needed. Material management is a key part of the supply chain process and ensures that professionals efficiently and correctly direct materials required for manufacturing procedures. There are numerous roles in the domain of this process, like inventory control manager, material manager, inventory analyst, material planner, and expeditor, along with roles like buyer and logistics planner. This has become a popular organization style, and as effective teams can help maximize profits by optimizing the flow of materials. This can be a changing goal to accomplish, as there are many factors that can lead to production shortages, including inventory adjustments, incorrect bills of materials, inaccurate inventory counts, unreported errors, shipping errors, receiving errors, reporting inconsistencies. What are the core elements of material management? There are five core elements of this process. These align together to constitute the management of material from purchase to utilization. These are the five elements. Material requirements planning. This is one of the most important steps in this process, as it accounts for a majority portion of the total investment of money. It directly influences the profits of an organization, as the number of materials a company procures is directly proportional to the amount of money it spends. The amount of materials utilized requires careful planning. Nowadays, companies are adopting the JIT, just-in-time, or a JIT model, just-in-time model, which significantly reduces the size of the inventory. Inventory planning and control. Inventory refers to the different types and volumes of goods a company holds at a particular time. It may include finished products and raw materials, items that are ready for the market, and materials used in the production processes. The optimum practice of this process. The optimum practice of this process prices items. So the optimum practice of this prices aims to reduce the size of the inventory as far as possible. This significantly reduces the cost associated with maintaining an inventory. Professionals in the industry achieve this by purchasing materials right before production or before moving a product into storage. There are three types of inventory: inventory for raw materials, inventory for purchased goods, inventory for finished parts and components. Purchasing. Most companies have companies sorry most companies derive their profits from the economical purchase of various materials. Sometimes a company may invest a large portion of its total capital for purchasing materials. Hence, the primary aim of this process is effective purchasing. This helps in increasing profit by reducing the cost of purchasing, flow and supply of materials. Materials management plays a crucial role in supply chain management. Material managers try to maintain an uninterrupted supply of materials during the production process. They distribute these materials to various production centers. Poor management or lack of inventory disrupts the production process and the availability of material supplies. Lack of stock can cause financial losses, delay in sourcing, replacement materials, and disruption of production schedules. Quality control of materials, ensuring that the materials used in production are of high quality, is very crucial. If the quality of initial raw materials is high, then it reflects in the quality of the finished products. Hence, it is essential to source the best materials from any form of production. There are multiple factors for which professionals may employ quality control. This may include durability, thermal and weather performance, dimensions, reliability, and visual appeal. All of these are important factors that determine the value of the end product. What are the five primary objectives of material management? The five primary objectives are right time. When planning materials at the right time to meet supplier and production demand is crucial for any organization. Ensuring the availability of materials at the right time can reduce inventory related risks. Right material. This process also aims to procure the right materials at the necessary time. Having the right materials may result in a better quality of finished products and higher profits. Right amount: procuring goods in sufficient quantity can reduce the unnecessary costs related to storage and organization. The material can meet the demand and at the same time reduce excessive stock holding. Right price: procuring materials at a reasonable and affordable price is another key objective. Minimizing procurement costs is an effective way to increase the profit of an organization. Right sources: it is important to procure materials from the right source for which it is for achieving consistent results. The right source can be a vendor or supplier who delivers the desired quality and quantity of material at the right price. Material manager's job description: a material manager is responsible for purchasing goods and other supplies and managing inventory in an organization. They collaborate with other managers to understand supply needs, purchase supplies depending on requirements, and coordinate receiving pro- procedures. They undertake many responsibilities related to quality assurance and operations control, which helps the company fulfill the major objectives of material management. The job of a material manager involves all activities related to the procurement and distribution of materials, and they help to add value to the finished products. They may also be responsible for obtaining machinery, spare parts, and other equipment required for production process. The primary goal of a material manager is to establish a continuous link of materials from production to manufacturing. What does a material manager do? Material managers oversee procurement and distribution of materials. Some may also refer to them as logistic managers and supply chain managers, depending on the industry in which they work. Material managers are primarily responsible for planning and controlling flow of materials, which includes activities such as sourcing, purchasing, inspecting, and distributing materials. They analyze the company's needs, liaise and with other managers, and identify materials to procure. Material managers oversee the distribution of the supply and ensure important materials are available during emergencies. They ensure that materials of the desired quality are available on time. In addition to this, they may coordinate consumer delivery processes that include managing budgets, monitoring credits, identifying inventory linkage, and ensuring the accuracy of the inventory. Depending on the size of their organization, material managers may also work with new product launches and recommended price points for selling. Duties of material manager: material managers perform the following duties: for production planning. Material managers design different efficient ways to meet the demands of consumers. They can establish priorities for the flow of materials, including what material a company needs for production and what when they require them. This process is forecasting. Once material managers establish priorities, they may manage multiple workflows to ensure that correct capacity of materials is available to meet priorities, implementation, and control. Material managers are responsible for implementing the plans they create for production. They may monitor production activities and control it in order to accomplish the priorities set in their plans. Additionally, material managers may also implement purchasing plans to meet production targets. Inventory management. Inventory control is the responsibility of material managers. They may monitor the volume of inventory at any given point in time to ensure that an inventory is appropriate for meeting production demands. Material managers purchase new materials when inventory levels drop beneath a certain threshold. This guarantees a continuous and consistent flow of resources. Operation management. Material managers may monitor specific operations that relate to the procurement of materials. They typically possess an understanding of how procurement operations work and how to effectively schedule production processes. They use this understanding to meet delivery goals while maintaining overall cost efficiency. Facility management. In larger companies, it is important for material managers to plan and control what facilities, plants, equipment, and labor are available for process work and produce inventory items. Knowing how to process and manage the operations in a facility can help material managers keep the flow of materials on track. Material managers may also supervise and liaise with managerial staff of a specific production facility. What is material management? Definition and primary objectives. Material management is the process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the flow of materials within an organization. In the manufacturing field, material managers perform a vital role in purchasing, obtaining, and maintaining raw materials to use in production processes. Having a basic understanding of this concept and the specific role of a material manager can help you prepare for a career in this field. In this career, we outline what material management is, how it works, what material managers do, and five core objectives. What is material management? In the context of business, material management is the process of planning, organizing, and directing logistical activities involving materials and inventory. The core idea behind this process is to control the movement of materials and equipment by requesting them in advance, purchasing, orienting them at a reasonable price, and making sure they are available when needed. Material management is a key part of the supply chain process and ensures that processes efficiently and correctly direct materials required for manufacturing procedures. There are numerous roles in the domain of this process, like inventory control manager, material manager, inventory analyst, material planner, and expeditor, along with roles like buyer and logistic planner. This has become a popular organizational style, as effective teams can help maximize profits by optimizing the flow of materials. This can be a challenging goal to accomplish, as there are many factors that can lead to production shortages, including inventory adjustments, incorrect bills of materials, inaccurate inventory counts, unreported errors, shipping errors, receiving errors, unreporting inconsistencies. What are the core elements of material management? There are five core elements of this process. These align together to construct the management of materials from purchase to utilization. These are the five elements. Material requirements planning. This is one of the most important steps in this process, as it accounts for a major portion of the total investment of money. It directly influences the profit of an organization, as the number of materials a company procures is directly proportional to the amount of money it spends. The amount of materials utilized requires careful planning. Nowadays, companies are adopting the just-in-time model, which significantly reduces the size of the inventory planning and control. Inventory refers to the different types and volumes of good a company holds at a particular time. It may include finished products and raw materials items that are ready for the market and materials used in the production process. The optimum practice of this prices aims to reduce the size of the inventory as far as possible. This significantly reduces the cost associated with maintaining an inventory. Professionals in the industry achieve this by purchasing materials right before production or before moving product into storage. There are three types of inventories: inventory for raw materials, inventory for purchased goods, inventory for finished parts and components. Purchasing. Most companies derive their profits from the economical purchase of various materials. Sometimes a company may invest a large portion of its total capital for purchasing materials. Hence, the primary aim of this process is effective purchasing. This helps in a material profit. This helps in increasing profit by reducing the cost of purchasing, flow and supply of materials. Material management plays a crucial role in supply chain management. Material managers try to maintain an uninterrupted supply of materials during the production process. They distribute these materials to various production centers. Poor management or lack of inventory disrupts the production process and the availability of material supplies. Lack of stock can cause financial losses, low delays in sourcing replacement materials, and disruption of production schedules. Quality control of materials, ensuring that materials used in production are of high quality, is very crucial. If the quality of initial raw material is high, then it reflects in the quality of the finished products. Hence, it is necessary to source the best materials for any form of production. There are multiple factors for which professionals may employ quality control. These may include durability, thermal, weather, performance, dimensions, reliability, and visual appeal. All of these are important factors that can determine the value of the end product. What are the five primary objectives of material management? The five primary objectives are right time. Obtaining material at the right time to meet the supply and production demand is crucial for any organization. The five primary objectives are right time. Obtaining materials at the right time to meet supplier and production demand is crucial for any organization. Ensuring the availability of material at the right time can reduce inventory-related risks. Right material. This process also aims to procure the right material at the right time, at the necessary time. Having the right material may result in a better quality of finished products and higher profits. Right amount. Procuring good in sufficient quantity can reduce unnecessary costs related to shortage and organization. The material can meet the demand and at the same time reduce excessive stock holding. Right price. Securing material at a reasonable and affordable price is another key objective. Minimizing procurement cost is an effective way to increase the profit of an organization. Right sources. It is important to procure materials from the right source for achieving consistent results. The right source can be a vendor or supplier who delivers the desired quality and quantity of materials at the right price. Material manager job description. Material manager is responsible for purchasing goods and other supplies and managing inventory in an organization. They collaborate with other managers to understand supply needs, purchase supplies depending on requirements, and coordinate receiving procedures. They undertake many responsibilities related to quality control, assurance, and operation control, which helps the company fulfill the major objectives of material management. The job of a material manager involves all activities related to the procurement and distribution of materials, and they help to add value to the finished products. They may also be responsible for obtaining machinery, spare parts, and other equipment required for production process. The primary goal of a material manager is to establish a continuous link of materials from production to manufacturing. What does material manager do? Material managers oversee procurement and distribution of materials. Some may also refer to them as logistic managers and supply chain managers. So, depending on the industry in which they work, material managers are primarily responsible for planning and controlling the flow of materials, which includes activities such as sourcing, purchasing, inspecting, distributing materials. They analyze the company's need, liaison with other managers and identify materials to procure. Material managers oversee the distribution of supplies and make sure important materials are available during emergencies. They ensure that materials of the desired quality are available on time. In addition to this, they may coordinate consumer delivery processes that include managing budgets, monitoring fleet, identifying inventory shrinkage, and ensuring the accuracy of the inventory. Depending on the size of the organization, material managers may also work with the new products in transition product launches and recommend price points for selling. Duties of a material manager. Material manager will perform the following duties for production planning. Material managers design efficient ways to meet the demands of consumers. They can establish priorities for the flow of material, including what materials the company needs for the production and when they require them. This process is good costing. Once material managers establish priorities, they may manage multiple workflows to ensure that correct capacity of materials is available to meet priorities. Implementation and control. Material managers are responsible for implementing the plans they create for production. They may monitor production activity and control it in order to accomplish the priorities set in their plan. Additionally, material managers may also implement purchasing plans to meet production targets. Inventory management. Inventory control is the responsibility of material managers. They may monitor the volume of inventory at any given point in time to ensure that an inventory is appropriate for meeting production demands. Material managers oversee new raw materials when inventory levels drop beneath a certain threshold. This guarantees a continuous and consistent flow of resources. Operations management. Material managers may monitor specific operations that relate to the procurement of materials. They typically possess an understanding of how procurement operations work and how to effectively schedule for production processes. They use this understanding to meet delivery goals while maintaining over cost efficiency. Facility management in larger companies, it is important for material managers to plan and control what facilities, plants, equipment, and labors are available to move, process work and produce inventory items. Knowing how to process and manage the operations in a facility can help material managers to keep the flow of materials on track. Material management also Material managers also may also supervise and liaise with material managerial staff of a specific production facility. Facility management in larger companies, it is important for material managers to plan and control what facilities, plants, equipment, and labors are available to process work and produce inventory items. Knowing how to process and manage the operations in a facility can help material managers to keep the flow of materials on track. Material managers may also supervise and liaise with managerial staff of specific production facilities. In larger companies, facility management in larger companies, it is important for material managers to plan and control what facilities, plant, equipment, and labors are available to process work and produce inventory items. Knowing how to process and manage the operations in facility can help material managers to keep the flow of materials on track. Material managers may also supervise and liaise with the managerial staff of specific production facilities. Facility management in larger companies, it is important for material managers to plan and control what facilities, plants, equipment, and labor are available to process work and produce inventory items. Knowing how to process and manage the operations in a facility can help material managers keep the flow of materials on track. Material managers may also supervise and liaise with the managerial staff of specific production facilities. धन्यवाद. Thank you so much.